A communique issued by management of the Ghana Institute of Journalism directing students who are unable to meet the deadline for registration of courses and payment of fees to defer their courses for the year. Students clad in black and red, chanting war songs, besieged the school's premises after management locked down the school, demanding audience with management. According to Naninchi, who is an affected student, the directive by management is draconian and undemocratic. For him, no dialogue whatsoever was held between management of the school and the students' body on the matter, and the students in question have actually paid about 60% of the fees they were required to pay. The only crime, however, was being poor and late.
It's simple. We belong to a management that has deliberately decided to frustrate us. This has been happening for many years. But we will leave all those issues and tackle the one that is happening right now. And what is happening right now is that the management is refusing to allow people who have paid fees after the deadline to register. And we think this decision is callous. For us, it's inhumane. And the management of the Ghana Institute of Journalism should look at this with a human eye and realize that these are not people who have not paid fees. These are people who have paid the fees. They have paid the fees and all they want to do is to write the exams. If they have paid, in past now, I have paid for penalties to write exams over 3 times. If the person pays the fees, what you do is simple. Just allow him to a penalty. Write the exam. And we're saying that if you don't allow them to write the exams and they defer, what will you be doing with the money they have paid? And a lot of students are affected. Another thing that a lot of people are not saying is that there are students who, through no fault of theirs, when they open the portal, even though they have to do 5 courses, only 4 courses showed up. So they registered. As of the time of the deadline of the registration, the other courses have not showed up. So through no fault of theirs, they have to now go and defer a course. And some of them are final year students. If you are final year student and you fail a course this semester, or you don't write a course this semester, you are automatically not going to graduate.
A level 200 student, Lodina Bwache, couldn't hold back her tears as thought of having to defer for a year crossed her mind. According to her, management of the school must sometimes attach human face as COVID-19 has worsened the economic situation of most parents who may have lost their jobs and have to go through hell to raise funds to settle their financial obligations.
My school management doesn't know how we ended up paying the school fees they are telling us we paid late for. And it doesn't make sense. You didn't defer me because I failed my exam. You didn't defer me because I was abused. You didn't defer me because I went against any of the rules governing the school. You deferred me because I was late. I was late in paying school fees. If I tell you how I got that money to pay that school fee, you will sit down and cry with me. If I tell you how I got the money, even as that, it's not the money I paid to them wasn't even the full fee. Last night before I even heard the news, I have not slept. I have to go find the rest of the money because it's 5 days to exam, 4 days. 4 days to exam. 4 days to exam. And I had to go look for money. In my bag right now, there's 770. I'm going to use it. You have no idea how I got this money, but yet I want to pay school fees. I want to pay school fees and be able to write exam. They are telling me after all this, if I pay this school fees, after all this, I should sit down in level 200 again.
A member of the interim committee of the Students' Representative Council, Samira Adams, told the news team that they will go the extra mile to have their voices and their grievances heard by management.
Our struggles are interconnected, and so sometimes you don't really need an organized leadership to undertake some of the uprising. But then we are saying again that we've chosen some group of people, some students, to have some consultative meetings with management, and that is what we are awaiting.
In a bid to find an achievable solution to the crisis, President of the GIJ alumni body, Edem Mensah, pleaded with the students to go back home as the alumni would do all it takes to reach a consensus with management on the issue, which failed woefully. The students are demanding for their right to be heard as their academic lives are on the line.
Weekend to pay school fees, and you're telling me I should stay at home. Well, how would you feel?
The good news is that we have one other year to come back to school.
One other year? Do you think it's easy? Do you think it's easy?
One other year.
Do you know how stressful GIJ is? Do you even understand? You don't. You don't have to stay home 1 year. You think it's easy that you come to school, then you have to stay home a year? Not because you failed your exam. Just
welcome to the couch. My name is Pratt. It was supposed to be an Alusa Thursday, and so I was all geared up with my, game face on, hard face on for the hard talk edition of the show. However, it's turning out to be a soft face, turban wearing kind of evening. You will know why in a few minutes, because the main issue for which we were so psyched for this evening has in some ways seen some finality. So we are not as charged up as we are. We are not happy. Everything has sort of been resolved, and we'll come to that in a minute. I just want to do a few acknowledgements before we go ahead with the main issue for this evening. I just want to say thank you to ATL Fabrics for my fabric. I want to say thank you to Zainu Laundry Services. Their number is 026-0246-173604. 0246-173604. That's Zainu Laundry Services. Contact them for all your laundry needs. I want to say thank you to Lady Chi Hair and Makeover. Obviously, she didn't do any hair this evening. She just did a makeover. And her number is 0255-870-6420. That's 055-870-6420. That's Lady Chi Hair and Makeover. Now I'd like to say thank you to Maria Mash Collections for my turban. If you've been observant the whole of this week, from Tuesday, yesterday, and today, I've been wearing my hair up in some form of turban or scarf or something like that. I've been doing that all week in solidarity with the Achimota students, or almost students who were turned away because of their hair. Hair is important. Hair is a political issue, but really, when it comes to the right to education, I think that hair is nothing. It's not an issue. So all of this week I've been tying up my hair in all sorts of things. Tuesday, when we did the conversation about the hair, when we had Ras Oswald, that's the parent, the father of one of the boys, as well as Daddy Bosco and Mr. Kofi Pratt in the studio to discuss the issue. I was in some ATF fabric, yesterday when we did the book review, same thing, another ATF. But today, what I'm wearing is from Maria Mash Collections. They are located in Accra, Malang, Bawi. Their number is 024-3464-531. I'll do that again, 024-3464-531 or 026-1919-121. 026-1919-121. You can find them on Facebook at Fabrics and Lace by Maria Mash. Again, they are located in Accra, Malang, Bawi. Trust me, it's very affordable. Very affordable. I was shocked at the price. So do contact them. Comes in colors, comes in different designs. You know, you can wear it when you are a lutein. You can wear it when you want to glam. You know, when you're going to a wedding. You can wear it when you're having a bad hair day. You know, so do contact them for one of these. Right, now let's get down to business. So we've all heard the news about the GIJ impasse, you know, all of the things that have been happening. Luckily or happily, this evening, it's been resolved. But I think that the issues still rage on. There are still a lot of things that we need to understand. Some of the issues for me are, muddled up, you know, and so this evening I want us to understand fully the issues and try to understand what all stakeholders can do so we don't come here again, hopefully. Let me introduce my guests for the evening. My guests this evening are three dynamic young people. I have with me in the studio Smart Techi. Hi, Smart.
Hello.
Smart Techi. Right. Perfect name for a perfect gentleman. Member of the Concerned Tertiary Students of GIJ. That's the CTSG. It's nice to see you again.
Same, yeah.
It's nice to see you again. Of course, there's Farida Yabua. She's a member of the Concerned Tertiary Students of GIJ. Same, you know, so that's a CTSG. Hi, Farida.
Hello.
I love your beret.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We should just change, you know, you take my turban, I'll take yours. Right. And then, of course, we have also Abdul Rahim Ninchi, my comrade. I see him every day. Hi, Ninchi.
Hi, comrade.
You're also part of this organization.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Great stuff. And you guys are the hottest people right now. I've been watching you and this one I heard you on Peace FM. You are on Adum FM. You've been, you know, you're on Panafrican. You are everywhere. You guys are just, you know. Okay. So, what is all of this about? I'll start with Farida. Farida, what's happening?
It all started with a communique that was released by management on Tuesday. The communique stated that any student who has paid fees but couldn't register should defer. And that we thought this wasn't right. It wasn't right in the sense that we are in the COVID era. So many things have changed. So I think they should have considered us rather than taking a decision without any student representative. So I think this is what was about.
So students who have paid fees
Yes.
but couldn't register. You need to explain that. So you've gone ahead and paid the fees. So what's preventing you from registering?
The system is now having something like LMS, which, because we are in the house now, we are using a software called LMS.
Right.
So after paying your fees, you have to go to the academic affairs and register your courses. After registering, they'll give you a username and a password. But because they couldn't pay before 25th, they had no access to the LMS. And that is the platform we are going to use to write exams. So they couldn't register their courses and they couldn't have access to LMS too.
So you were asked to defer the course for a year. Let's talk about the implications of that for a minute. You know, just so that viewers will appreciate why, you know, this was so important to all of you. So what would this mean, for instance, for you, Smart?
So technically what it meant was that students had to wait for a whole academic year to run and apply next year.
Right.
So what it means is that you have to forfeit this very 2021 academic year and come back in 2021 and 2022 academic year. And so for these students who were affected, we as concerned tertiary students felt that it was a little unfair because we had just 5 days to the exam timetable, which was scheduled to begin on the 29th of March. That is Monday next week.
Yeah.
And receiving a notice on Tuesday, we thought that the timing was wrong and it was insensitive, and we felt that it was a little unfair. So as a group that emanated from the COVID era, when there was a vacant position in the SRC body, which is still vacant, we felt that this was the time to champion the students'
This
interest.
course.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now let's talk practical implications.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll come to you, Ninchi, with that one. What are the practical implications of having to defer until 2000? What am I saying? 2022. What are the practical implications for?
So if you happen to be a final year like me, it means your graduation is scheduled to take place somewhere in November this year. That means you have to wait from November 2022.
The man can't even talk. All of his voice is gone. Wow, you've been busy.
Very busy. So basically, I think the implications were that if your academic year, if it's supposed to be 4 years, if you're doing diploma, if you're doing degree, but if you're doing diploma, it's supposed to be 2 years, and so you have to schedule it out another 1 year. So if you're in level 300, let's say you're not just forfeiting the academic year, you're forfeiting that. You're not just forfeiting the semester. You're forfeiting the whole year. So you're in the first semester. If you're asked to defer, it means you're not just deferring the semester. You are deferring the whole year. You don't defer a semester. And you are saying that you are not giving the person even the opportunity to get to, because the registration are done on semester basis. So why are you asking the person to defer based on the fact that he was not able to register for a particular semester? So practically, what it really meant was that for myself like this or many other final year students, your parents are waiting that finally you graduate,
right.
And then they now have to get the shock that because you paid the fees, not that you didn't pay, you paid and didn't pay the penalty, but the only problem is that you are not able to register. When she speaks about the registration, another problem is that for many people see it as just that the student paid but was not able to register because the deadline was up. But there's another perspective to it which I think has not been discussed.
Okay.
Sometimes you open the portal, and if this semester I'm doing 5 courses, you open the portal and those 5 courses are not there. It is just 4 courses that are there. So you have paid the fees, you are willing to register, but someone at the IT office has not done a particular job very well, and so through no fault of yours, you have not been able to register. By the time that course is put back there, the deadline is over, and you are unable to register, and as a matter of fact, you have to forfeit that particular semester.
That point is very important or very instructive for me, because my next question to you guys was going to be about discipline and doing the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Because I think that as students, and I've been a student before, we tend to wait till the last minute. You know, we procrastinate the most important things like registration.
Exactly.
We sit down and wait. We know that the deadline is the 25th. It's on the 25th that all of us want to go and register. So, you know, when you bring that up, that sort of deflates that argument. Because I was going to make that argument because you people were just sitting down waiting, chilling, you know, waiting for the deadline to pass before you go. But if there were practical challenges, technical challenges, then obviously, why didn't you bring these issues up to the notice of school management, that it was practically impossible for you to register?
Well, I think that the conversation about the school's technical challenges is we try as much as possible as a student body to understand, because we feel that even with the new system that they have, which is aiding teaching and learning, GIJ, we call it LMS, which is the learning management system. It has a lot of challenges. We used it last year to write our exam, and for every paper we wrote, we were given between 24 to 48 hours to submit our work, because the system had so many challenges. One was that sometimes even just logging onto the platform can take you about 6 hours. So they recognize the losses in the technical issues with that particular platform. 2, after you were done with even your exam, submitting your work became a problem. So what some lecturers did was that they advised students to have a copy of their answers in a Word document,
Right.
and email it to a different complaint email that was provided students weeks after the exam, because some lecturers couldn't even find the answer sheets of students after the exam.
And all of this is coming up because of COVID.
And all this came up because of COVID.
This has been business as usual.
No,
This is
it's all because of COVID.
COVID.
Yes.
Right.
So we thought that, okay, as a student body, we understand the plight of management. We know that it's something you just developed. It will surely have challenges. Yes. So we said, okay, we'll meet you halfway. So every student who was affected, an email was created for every student with a password. The GIJ model was also developed. And so there were communication coming from lecturers to student, management to student. We appreciated that communication. But the LMS platform had a problem. And so like Nietzsche rightly mentioned, apart from the fact that some students paid after the deadline, the GIJ student portal, that gives the student access to their financial information, to their academic results, and also to the courses you're reading in a particular semester. Some can open the portal and see only 4 courses. As last year's students, I'm reading 5 courses. I don't know for the other students.
I think Nietzsche is
also reading 5 courses. So
yeah, 5 as well.
So if I open the portal and through no fault of mine, there are 4 courses in there, the system cannot guarantee my approval.
Right.
I need to select all 5 courses for the system to place me in a specific class group. So if I need to be in Saturday 7 to 10 a.m., after I select the course, that probably is the class that doesn't have enough numbers, so the system can place me there. So if I open the portal and I have only 4 courses, there is no approve button for me to click to complete the process.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what that means is that after the deadline, I would have to suffer and I will be disadvantaged.
Right.
And so we said, management, the system has a problem.
So you drew management's attention to this problem?
Yes,
what you're saying.
we did. We did.
I can give you one instance. The school has a new person in charge of IT. I remember recently we went to campus to do a particular assignment, and students were seated. So I think he had received a lot of complaints from students, and he walked up to us, and he says, "What are our problems?" And this is the new IT person. Yeah. We didn't even know him. He said, "What are the problems with the LMS system?" And we explained to him. So genuinely, the students had complained because if you realize the school released a particular communique that if you had an issue with your LMS, send it through this particular email.
Right.
So generally, the school admitted that there was a problem with the LMS software.
Okay, so now let's play the guessing game, right? And I hope you guys are going to be fair in this guessing game. Don't jump to the extremes. Let's be fair to all parties concerned. Why do you think that if the school appreciates some of these technical challenges, the school would want to punish students, you know, as a result of its own technical challenges? I'm trying to appreciate and I can't. Why do you think that if the school is aware that this system that we are operating has challenges, why would we want to punish somebody for that?
I think generally the biggest problem was communication.
Communication.
Yeah, we are from a communication university, but that was the biggest problem.
Right.
Smart mentioned that we are having a problem with student leadership. There's no from that period where because of COVID an election could not be organized and there's been a back and forth on all this whole issue of SRC. So this decision we are speaking to you about by management not to allow those who have paid fees after the deadline to register was not communicated with the student body. So there was no consultation. There was nobody to give the input of the students and say these are the things that have been happening. And we think that based on all these, extend the deadline. In October 2020, there was a meeting we had with the rector when we were fighting for the decrements in fees. And in that meeting, Smart were in that meeting. And one of the acknowledgement by the school's management or the rector, the deputy rector, was that there was a communication gap. There were issues that the rector thought that we knew, that we didn't know, and there were things we thought that management knew that they didn't know. Right. And so in that meeting, I thought that the agreement was that now that we all understand that there's a gap between management and the student body, when issues like this come up, especially knowing how, this was the first time actually, in 2018, there was a bigger demonstration.
Right, I remember.
And so knowing how this is a very sensitive issue, we would have thought that a week before this communique, there had been an election to appoint an interim SRC committee. So Why couldn't
Sorry
management?
to digress, I know that you were vying for the president.
I presume.
Okay. So president tattoos.
Those presidents have to
All right, let's
So
go.
we would have thought that they knew about the interim committee.
Right.
Speak to them. This is the issue, and we are releasing this communique. I'm sure there would have been an engagement, and that's one bit of it. The second bit of it is that I think that there are too many assumptions made. What I came to, when you become a student of GIJ and you are matriculated, you will be given a handbook. That handbook contains every information about the rules and regulations of GIJ.
Right.
Because of COVID, these level handlers were not given a hard copy handbook. Their handbooks were sent to them via our WhatsApp page.
Right.
In a PDF.
Now, in a PDF format. Now, when I saw the handbook, I didn't bother reading because I have a handbook. Apparently, management had changed some rules in the new handbook. So I, as a level, when level 200 came, they came, I didn't go and look for the handbook. When the level 300 came, I didn't look for the handbook. So I was under no
So was
obligation.
this handbook made available to you?
These handbooks were shared on WhatsApp groups.
So
I saw the new handbook 2 days
management
ago.
took the trouble
Yeah.
to make sure that all students had it.
No.
No, I think the explanation I'm making is that
When we came to level 100,
Right.
we were all given student handbook.
Okay. Given to you
yeah, hard copy.
directly.
I still have
hard
mine.
copy.
But the
Right.
problem is that the new handbook that's been given was given to that's if every year group can you are given a handbook.
Right.
So when they give a handbook, the assumption is that I already have a handbook. Why do I need to go and read a new
the
handbook?
new one.
So if there's a change in rule in the new handbook, the thing we would have expected is that you all need to know that there has been an update. Even when people write books and they review their books, they update it. They write latest revised edition. So we would have thought that would have happened. Until a few days ago,
Yeah,
when
2
people
days
started realizing even that there were new regulations,
In the new.
and those regulations were what the management was using their arguments on their valid.
Right.
And most of these conventions, let's call them conventions, were made known to us in the meeting we entered in yesterday.
Right.
And sitting in the meeting, I felt that, and this is my plea to management when we were having the discussion. I said, "Sir, we understand. We admit that there is a new handbook.
Right.
Maybe oversight. So we just admit that we didn't read it. But if there are new policies or new directives, don't you think you should have told students? Because if, let's say, I have a book by Smart Techi on how to make money,
Right.
a hard copy. If you send me a PDF, will I bother opening it? No, I have a hard copy. Oh, but this is a revised edition of Smart Techi's book on how to make money. Then I would say, all right, what new thing has he added to this particular? And so in that meeting, we would recall that just yesterday in the afternoon, management released a statement, a 9-point statement, explaining in detail what necessitated the notice they served students on Tuesday. And it was only because we asked them to let students have a better understanding of the new directive. In the new communique, which was given us,
Right.
I'm trying not to go ahead of you. I'm just going to read a part.
Fine. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
So this will be the first one that was.
Sent
Yeah, and this communication is because they wanted students to understand the new directive.
Right.
I'm going to read point 6. Point 6. Point 6 says that as an institution with a vision and mission to achieve academic excellence comparable to any other global higher education institution, we shall continue to commit to international best practices in higher education administration. And this is bolding. We therefore wish to remind students and all other stakeholders that GIJ is granting this amnesty to students for the last time. The institute shall religiously enforce its registration policies at the beginning of the next academic year.
Wait, this is what was
This
issued
tonight.
this evening.
Yeah,
This evening.
tonight.
This is the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, you really did jump ahead of me.
We're sorry about that,
No,
but
that's fine.
just for the purposes of the conversation,
Right.
we would just to acknowledge the fact that there's a new directive for those who are looking to enter GIJ.
Right.
So
That's
now,
by way of education.
yes.
Yeah.
So the onus lies on us as consent tertiary students to also trumpet the message home that, hey, students, in times past, we enjoyed a lot of extensions.
Let's all backtrack for one
Yeah.
second. Let's backtrack. Why do you think that these registration regulations are so important to management? Farida, I haven't heard your voice in a while.
I think for some time now, the management thought students were taking them for a ride because they've been lenient on their regulations. They don't really go hard on students when they don't pay their fees, and now they want to instill that. I think that is what caused that. So this rule has been there for some time, and they were not using it. Even though they were using it, it wasn't as strict as they were trying to do now.
Right.
So I think they felt students were just not registering because they felt, after all, you can register at the last hour. So I think that is what influenced their decision to make sure this time they go hard on us.
Right. I appreciate that. But beyond that, why do you think that it's important to register when you have to register? Because I like the fact that you smart brought up this thing about education for those who are, the other students and those who want to come in.
Yeah.
Let's educate them. Why is it important to register when the school says register?
To be fair to the school, especially in the era of COVID where we are using online to write our exams, we all know what goes through, what software developers go through at the back door of the main website you see. And so the assumption is that if by the middle of the semester you have not paid your fees, we would assume that you are not coming to school.
Right.
And then we can work with the list. Imagine that the portal is open till 2 days before the exams. You don't even work, because when you write your IA, your interim assessment exams, you have to submit it through the LMS.
Right.
If you have the IA is usually written in the middle of the semester. If you have not paid your fees, you cannot access your portal. If you can't access your portal, you cannot register. If you have not registered, you cannot have a password to access the LMS software. So I think that management is trying to streamline all this to make sure that by the middle of the semester, they have a total data of registered students, not just students, because you can be a student of GIJ, but you are not registered for that particular academic year. And that makes their work easier. But the reason this time
makes your life easier.
Sure.
The reason this is a bit difficult, it was highly opposed, was that it wasn't the case. In GIJ, I have paid penalty 3 times because sometimes
I still want to say.
I'm not supposed to. This one I wasn't hit by the penalty. So what happens is that 2 weeks to exams, management will release a final statement and say, those of you who have not paid the fees, we are giving you a chance.
Right.
So when there was a new directive that was not communicated, the student assumed that GIJ, as for 2 weeks before exams, now they will say we have opened final one. So they were all waiting. Then all of a sudden, this management that has been giving us this opportunity has so you see, from the student perspective, they have got that impression all the time. That convention. So if you are changing that convention,
You must
of the law.
That's the student.
So you're not to blame.
Exactly.
The student's body is to blame. Management is to blame. But
There's no communication.
because you guys have been,
enjoying this. And some students actually went ahead to even make payments for the penalty.
So yeah, the school didn't release a statement for penalty actually.
But some students didn't pay
They already need a penalty to pay.
because they know that this is a convention we all know.
Wait. So you guys already paid the penalty.
Yes, they did.
Even though the school didn't release a statement, some had paid the fees that they had to pay,
And they
went and paid penalty. They were just waiting for a statement to come to officialize it.
Well, now we know. Now we know better.
Now we know.
Now let's come back. And sorry that I keep backtracking because I want viewers to have a full. I didn't do an introduction where I tell the story. I'm letting you guys tell the story as we are going along. And I'm asking this question. I'm going back to this question because of something I heard Farida say this morning on radio. About you coming from Kumasi. I don't know if you meant yourself or if you were speaking in
myself.
general.
I'm coming from
you coming from Kumasi, having to rent, in Accra, so you can school in GIJ, and the implications of that for you. I remember you saying that your rent was 6,000.
Yeah.
And so this extended year would mean that you need to find that 6,000 and pay for an accommodation for a year that you basically be doing nothing.
Sure.
Right. For Pan African TV, I don't know if you know the other stations have the same footage, but we had the footage of a lady crying.
Yeah.
And we play that before,
Yeah.
you know, with her own issues as well. Let's stay there for a little bit. Let's talk about that. This is what I meant by practical challenges to you with the deferment.
Yeah.
So Farida, I've heard yours if you want to reiterate.
Yeah.
Then when you're done, Smart could tell us, and then she could tell us about
Sure.
the real practical day-to-day life, you know, implication of what this deferment could have meant for your life. Yeah.
Okay. Personally, I'm from Kumasi. I came here purposely for education. My rent is 6,000 for a year. So I'm in my final year. I paid that thinking that, after graduation, I'm going back to my house. And then I saw this communique saying we should defer. That means I have to look for another 6,000. That 6,000 didn't come easy. I had to call some family friends, had to call some friends, and then the little bit my mother would get for me. So going back to that process was so much. I couldn't sit. I was shaken. The day I saw the communique, I called my friends. I was like, do management know what we go through? Do they know how we get money to pay? Because the school doesn't have a hostel. And we did think about students coming from long distance. We have students
from
coming
other regions.
northern region, Kumasi, Sunyani. How we sleep. So if I'm deferring there, I have just 4 months to complete. Then you're telling me to defer, go and stay in the house. I can't stay in Accra, so I have to go back home and hustle for money.
Then the challenge there is you might come back and not have the same accommodation again.
That is it. And then Accra stay by, they might even increase the price.
Right.
Yes. Right. And then now my plan would have to change because I don't have 6,000 anymore. Maybe I'll be getting 8,000.
Right.
Then I'll have to start looking for another year feeding fee, transportation to campus, buy new syllables, and then all that. I think it's so much.
Right.
So we are not just protesting because we felt we wanted to be on the street. These are some of the reasons why we were on the street. These are some of the reasons why we petitioned the students' body. And then we are grateful they heard us.
They heard you, absolutely. Anybody wants to?
I think that if you listen to some of the affected students, just like Farid and myself, I live alone, run my own business, but then listening to some other students, and this is the catch. When we started, school reopened on the 14th of January. Just the third week into the academic calendar, we were told that lectures is going back online.
Right.
Now, practically, if I'm from Kumasi and I knew lectures was going to be online, I could have stayed in Kumasi without necessarily coming to Accra to rent a place. So if I have moved from Kumasi to Accra to rent, we have friends from Takrady. One of the members of CTSG, Swansea, is from Takrady, comes and he was telling us just yesterday that his rent is due.
Right.
You know, if everything is going to be online, and even our exams we have been told is going to be online, they could have just stayed in Takrady, in Kumasi, in the northern region, and saved that money that they have used for,
accommodation,
and also the transport in and out from their hostels. They could have bought data to keep them online so that they can do it from wherever that they are coming from, And so for some students, not everybody, for some students, they have genuine concerns, just like Farida has shared hers. Genuine concerns. The lady who was crying, she said, if you know where I live, and I live there to campus all the time. And the other issue is that there are issues that no matter what you do, management cannot resolve it on phone or even through emails. You have to be there in person. So people can even leave the Eastern region, come and be told that come tomorrow. These are practical issues. someone has been chasing myself. I had a problem with my social psychology grade. It's been a year now. It has not been rectified. So a student can just get frustrated with that. All the time, come, go, we will look at it. Come, go, we will look at it.
Right.
So these are students who felt that we struggled to pay the hostel fees. We suffered to get the fees, even in this COVID era. So just add up, I pay 2,730. If I'm going to be living in a place where Farida lives, 6,000 plus 2,730, that makes it 8,730. I have money to get a hostel. I have money to come up with the fees. Unfortunately for me, I got the fees after the deadline.
Right.
So we are just saying that. Cut management meters halfway.
Halfway.
That is what it actually meant for some students.
Right.
Because they were looking at the other things involved. Not just the fact that I know some students may be waiting, like Nietzsche said, because we enjoy the convention that, oh, let me pay last minute and even add the penalty so that management will know I'm serious. But then there are other students who also didn't have the money at all.
At all.
And as we speak, Farida has done a great job. She has compiled a list of every student who was affected, how much they have paid so far, and how much more they need.
Right.
And we are still trying to solicit for funds to try and help them.
Right.
Because management gave us only 5 business days to help
In this
register
new resolution.
in this new resolution.
So remind me, just in case I forget, that will be the last thing we do before we go home, to solicit for funds. Those who are watching us, if they are willing to help us, that will be the last thing we do. Okay. So now let's talk organization. Charlie, you guys are mafia. Yeah. So you're gonna communicate when? When did you organize? How did you organize? You, your SRC president is in the crowd. How did you organize this way and move like that?
I think first of all, it just didn't happen.
Right.
As we said, in July last year, the school fees have been increased. So a young lady, Comrade Samia Mohammed Ibn Moro, look, she started giving all of us calls. Some of us, we were actually tired of GIJ issues because, like he said, you have results to follow up. As we speak, we wrote an exam in July last year. The results for that exam is not out. We are entering another semester. So we decided that, look, let's forget politics. Let's do this. And so Samia called, she said, look, there's nobody to do this. We need to speak. So she put us together. We started going to parliament, met everybody that mattered. At some point, we could see that the school not reduce the fees. So we dropped the agenda. But
you wanted to get the school to reduce the fees.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was when they increased it.
When they increased it. So it didn't happen. We met the rector, the deputy rector, and registrar and head of account. They explained everything to us. And the agenda fell down, like we all see here. So until I had closed from work, and I was in the Trotsky, I had just go to 355 or so at Shell bus stop before airport. Right. Then when I saw the communique, I was thinking, because I was thinking it had to do with something about the elections.
Right.
Then I opened it, the communication was so straightforward. Straightforward. When I read it, I was hurt because I wasn't affected personally, but I had paid and had registered. So I just went to my WhatsApp status. I know GIJ students, they start shouting there. So they went, I could see a lot of people complaining. So I think someone posted on the page, we have a page for that, where we've never said anything on that page since.
Dormant.
So just that Tuesday, somebody was telling, I said, you may not have used. So we need to do something quickly. And the lovely thing about that group is that we don't have anybody who say this is the leader. This is the secretary. If all the press statements you see we release.
How many are you in this mafia group?
I don't even know how many. People just keep joining. It's just a group of anybody willing to help. Today's press statement, for instance, we were standing on campus since 9 a.m. When we had hints that management might release their statement, we spoke. Smart, Ali, draft something. Smart also called a colleague who was not around, Swansea. Then he wrote something quickly, brought it. We read it there, then quickly we did that. So the organization, it's been people, if you check the group, there are people who had ambitions of running for SRC. And for me, that all these people decided to shelve their personal ambitions And anytime we're doing all this, nobody said, if you go, they think that you are the serious person. Everybody knew where they fit. And some of these TV interviews that came, you just be there. Smart will call you, Charlie, I think that I've spoken enough on radio. And there are many other people in the group. Speak. And that's, for me, that's why the organization was very easy. Nobody was seeking for personal gratifications.
Right.
And it made it so easy for all of us.
Right. See, that just gave me goosebumps. Because it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch how you guys organize so quickly and have been so effective, I must say. Like you're saying, different, media engagements, different voices, different, and me and him, I would tell him the ones I like, the ones I didn't like, and all of that. But good work. Are you going to maintain this group?
Yeah.
You should. Even after school, maintain it.
Yeah.
I mean, we need more issues after that. We need more salute actions, my diva over here, and all of that. Okay, so how about the larger student body? How are you communicating with, those of you who are not in this
consent.
Thank you, I was going to call you mafia. Like how are you doing that?
So for the CTS, yes, we call ourselves. What we do all the time is that we have refs on the school has WhatsApp platforms, and we know WhatsApp takes about 256 people. So for every platform, what we have done strategically is to put every member in all the other platforms where there is like a student group. So Ninche is on groups that I'm not on. I'm on groups that probably Ninche is not on. Farida is also championing her case in other groups because I think she was even vying for the women's commissioner. So she's somebody who's respected.
Really?
So what we do is that the moment we agree on our page, the CTSG page, quickly everybody starts disseminating the information on the other pages. And we also serve as the spokespersons. If people have concerns, they speak to us. We address them. And we make sure that our voice is the last that they're going to hear on any matter at all. So whenever we get any information from management, we issue a statement. And if anybody has issues, we let them know. Contact anyone, just like Ninche said. So there is no leader, even though we appreciate the effort of Samira. Samira stood and, a lot of people were amazed she's not, looking for any student leader position. Myself, I'm not. But the other people, Farida here, Ninche here, Patrick, Ismail Nilante, all these guys are doing so well. They all had to solve their personal ambitions and say, see, students' interest is paramount.
Let's get to work. Let's
do what matters.
So now the communication that came this evening, the communique that came, let's talk about that. Can anybody read it out for me and the viewers as well?
It's a very long communique.
Okay, so read only the relevant portion.
Every part of it looks well.
Only the relevant portion.
Even the point one sent us jubilating.
Right.
So this is the media release. General amnesty to non-registered students. Management of the Ghana Institute of Journalism has magnanimously granted all students who fail to register for the first semester of the 2020-2021 academic year an opportunity to register and write their end of semester exams instead of deferring their programs. Management took this decision today, Wednesday, 25th March 2021, based on a petition received.
So that was yesterday?
That was yesterday.
But you guys didn't know this even this morning?
No. We got this message 4:37 today.
Right.
And it said, based on a petition received from student leaders yesterday and the engagement with the said students who rendered an unqualified apology on behalf of demonstrating students who had issued threats, untruths, and insults against management. Point 2. We wish to place on record that management had consistently engaged with students about payment of fees and registration since 2018, when students embarked on a demonstration on a similar issue. Since then, management has continually served notices to students and extended registration deadlines with no penalty and provided opportunities for students with difficulties to utilize the institution's processes in resolving their issues to enable them register. Point 3. Students embarked on a demonstration on Tuesday, 23rd March 2021, without first notifying management and discussing their difficulties, and this was rather unfortunate. Point 4. Management has listened to students' plea and accepted the apology rendered by the students in good faith. Leadership, therefore, grants a general amnesty to all students to complete their registration.
Right.
Affected students should immediately produce their receipts at the Academic Affairs Registry to complete the registration processes. This opportunity to register shall expire in 5 working days from today on to Thursday, 1st April 2021. Any other student who has a special case, which is itemized, should contact the registrar's office to avail themselves of any opportunities available for students with exceptional circumstances.
Right. Please
or difficult.
Round up for us.
It says accordingly, examination scheduled to start on Monday, 29 March, has been rescheduled to Tuesday, 6th April.
Oh, so even your exams has been
rescheduled.
Right, right. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yes. We cannot learn, actually. We can learn more.
Because instead of learning, you guys were a little tired. Okay. So great news. Is
Yes.
it?
Yes.
You are happy.
Very good.
This is great.
Yeah.
All round great.
Yeah.
No reservations with the statement. Nothing.
No.
None.
No.
None.
We are glad they accepted our apology. We apologize because some of the management teams received text messages and screenshots of messages students have put out on social media. And as the leadership of the concerned tertiary students, we condemned that act. We told management that it's useful exuberance. Some of them just went on social media to say that they probably didn't consider that these messages can get to the quarters, like the principal management team.
So you weren't being diplomatic?
Not at all.
You weren't being diplomatic?
Yeah, we went.
This was a diplomatic meeting.
And again, I think it was multifaceted.
Right.
So yesterday something happened, and I think I just have to mention it. When the management, when we started gathering at campus, management called that there was supposed to be a meeting.
Yeah.
And then they asked that I be part of the meeting. I mean, not management, my colleagues asked that I should be part of the meeting. And I said, I'm sorry. If I go, I'll spoil your case. Because I have so much anger in me. And so quickly,
They just said smart. Go.
You are the side. You speak good English. So I really So revolutionary. And one thing I learned there quickly was that even among the group, when I spoke and I said I could not speak, they quickly understood. And nobody said, oh, but you should go.
Because you would not have gone to apologize.
I wouldn't have apologized. And I think that if I'd gone, I would have destroyed the good case that the student had. So rather than going there, I had to be on campus because, again, yesterday we had a media engagement on a particular television, and when we were going, there were 2 of us, and these 2 people were individuals that were actually speaking to the police. I mean, Superintendent Freeman and ACOP Kwesi Ofori. Right. They were dealing with us directly because there were times, of course, people are angry and they've not paid fees and all that. They've not been allowed to register. Right. So some of the things they were saying, I'm sure even if they sit down and think about it, we went a bit of what. When we were going for the interview, the producer for that show requested for the 2 of us. And we felt that no, if the 2 of us go, there's too much exuberance that who will tell the people that, look, now it's okay, let's relax more. So again, we quickly said, you are that way, let's pick another calm person. Right. All I learned from, again, these things are that even in the group, people realize their difficulty and realize that if it comes to diplomacy, then nobody has to say that. I think that it's one thing we need to commend Smart. I'm not saying this because he's here, but his approach. When we sat in a meeting with the management in October 2020, I just looked at this guy. I said, What is this guy doing? Just turn on the That's us.
But sometimes you need water.
Exactly. And again,
Sometimes
if we had just gone
water.
with a petition, 5 people, I am telling you that this would not have happened.
Yes.
Once people made noise, and once people made noise,
Right.
media was covering. Nobody really likes bad press.
Nobody
People
does.
were talking about
Especially
it.
now. There's a lot of
Exactly.
bad
Yeah.
press.
There is no-
Management.
for sure. Exactly. So once all that happened, so yes, diplomacy is good, but a bit of revolution is good.
It's also good.
Fire is good. No, because fire gets the person to realize that, okay, things are hot. Then he
Right.
says, okay, come, let's talk. And
Then you can go pour a little water.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm happy that you guys are happy. Everything has worked out beautifully. You know, some of you give fire, some of you give organization, some of you give water when it was necessary, and all of these things helped. You know, where we are now. But like we are all saying, we need to take lessons.
Exactly.
You know, how do we move forward such that, because GIJ students demonstrating, it's becoming one too many, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys are, we need you to be studying so you guys can come out and, you know, we don't want you to be the news. We want you to be reporting the news. So let's talk. How do we, you know, move on or move forward such that these sort of clashes between the students and the management are less?
I think that we intend to use a 3-point approach.
Right.
I'll speak to one part of it. Farida will take the next about support for some of the students.
Right.
I think nature will also deal with the orientation bit for our students.
Right.
I think that we must commend management. Rector has assured us, the CTSG, that his doors are always open to us. The first time he did in October last year, and he did again yesterday. So for me, as part of the leadership of the CTSG, I've come to understand that, okay, dialogue works with the management that we have. So we would always hammer this message to our fellow colleague students that, see, you may have issues, the tempers are high, but let us go in and have a conversation with management, because they have never closed their doors to us. In fact, yesterday, when students were chanting at the old site, we had a call that we can send 5 people in. So we had to pick the team that should lead that particular delegation. And when we got there, the reception from the registrar, we had a good laugh. She even told us that she was going to increase the AC so that we chill before rector comes in. And we saw that we were both not at loggerheads. I think that it was just a gap in communication. And so, coming back to the table, we think that the student body is now depending on us for a lot of things to be done. So we would like to tackle one thing at a time. Let us look at, first of all, getting students to understand that, see, we are communication students. The first thing we must have in mind when there is an issue is to communicate. And not just go out there, even though fire is good. Sometimes it gets the attention.
Fire.
Yeah, fire is good. It gets the attention.
I love fire.
That whilst the fire is ongoing, there should be a team also talking, so that we can balance the two.
Right.
We might not be able to control every other student. That is something we should put on record.
Right.
Because the power that the CTSG wields, some people may not recognize that, because we are a group,
Right.
not elected by school.
Right.
We just picked up the whole issue of the students' concerned.
You just freestyled.
And so there are other issues coming up right now about some philanthropists, well-meaning Ghanaians, concerned citizens who are saying that, hey guys, we see what you're doing, let us know the affected student. Would also like to, and Farida has taken
you deal with that.
Yes, I started that yesterday night. I had so many calls. I had students phoning in telling me, I had a guy who told me he has just paid 19% of the fees. And it's not like he doesn't want to pay. He lost his job, his mother is sick, and he is in the house. He doesn't have anything to do. And we know the system now, even those with masters don't have jobs. So he's in the house, he's doing nothing. So he has just paid 19%. We have another girl who also hasn't paid anything at all. It's like she doesn't want to pay. She doesn't have the means, and she wants to be educated. So we took it upon ourselves again to raise funds for these people. They are not the only people, but I think they are those with. They are not the only people, but then we want to raise funds. So we created a mobile money number. Can you give me the mobile money? We created a mobile money account that anybody at all, who, even if it's 1 CD, I think it will go a long way to help them. So we put the mobile money number here. Whoever wants to call can call and then seek for more clarification, and then also send whatever they want to send. So he's getting me the number and I'll put it on.
Good stuff. So beyond, now that the school has given you 5 days to sort of get your act together, gather your money, still pay penalty?
Yeah.
There's still penalty?
There's no penalty.
There's no penalty.
Right. Just get your money ready, pay. You have a 5-day window. Now the issue is for those who do not have the money. So beyond the Aluta, you guys are also looking at ways to help the students who do not have the money. So when you guys are ready, we'll put out the Momo number. You're free to call the number as well if you want more information.
Sure.
And all of this money will go to students who are unable to pay the fees, because you have 5 days to pay the fees. Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys are amazing.
I think that on the bit of orientation, aside everything we've done, I think that it's very important that we acknowledge that, like the school has stated, there are international best practices for higher learning institutions, and this happened because there was a gap in terms of communication. But generally, there's this kind of tension in the country where people feel that if they don't make noise, they are not heard. So when you write petitions, it will be ignored. When you speak, so I think that it's not a GIJ issue only. These days, when people have issue, the first thing they think about is social media.
Let me go.
Because when the issue happened on Tuesday, by 8 p.m. we were #1 on the top 20 in Ghana. Justice for GIJ hashtag and all that. So the next SRC that will be elected has a big task. The task of that SRC will be to provide a realistic atmosphere for the student body. Stop giving the student hope that do not exist. Because obviously, if you don't pay your fees, you cannot write an exams. Exactly. So if the student body comes to you, let's be realistic. Rather than for the SRC to be doing projects that do not make sense, projects that are a little bit too ambitious, provide a fund. Because when management look at us sometimes, I'm sure they look at like, which kind of group of students are this? Because if we say we don't have money, but if you watch the SRC budgets, you watch expenditure, these are the people who are saying they are fighting for the students, but they are spending huge money on things that really do not matter. So we have a huge task and I was looking from the student perspective, and whoever becomes the next SRC president has a huge task of creating a realistic atmosphere. And when you create that realistic atmosphere, we'll be able to help. She spoke about people who have not been able to pay the fees. There's one lady, and to a bit I feel very guilty about her. During the vacation, she texted me that what processes does it take for someone to defer a course? And my understanding was that she wanted to actually understand the process. I only got to find out that she was finding out the process for herself, to be fair. Because I had attended her mother's funeral. I didn't know that the mother's funeral had affected her so much that she could not pay fees and all that. And she's just one of many other people. And so when people come generally, when it comes to the SRC, because if management will be providing financial support, the SRC has a bigger duty. Every student pays at least 50 cedis for SRC dues. And so we can support at least 100 students.
Students' welfare.
Student welfare. Because even as I speak, the Lebanese
you know, if you can't pay the SRC fees too, you can't register.
Exactly. So how is it that if people cannot pay SRC fees, they can't register? But that same SRC cannot help them. The Lebanese government.
Oh, it's just 90 cents.
I'm sorry for asking a dumb question or an ignorant question, but that SRC dues goes to the SRC.
Yes,
not management.
No. There's a separate account for the schools.
And what does the SRC use the money for?
We are supposed to even have an endowment fund to support this kind of.
I'm very sure if we delve into this SRC right now, we would probably have another liter.
I will leave this.
Exactly.
Because I don't understand. So you take students from every student.
That's for continuing students, but for freshers up to 90 students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm saying the Lebanese government has been helping with some scholarship scheme. And I'm saying that if all these outsiders are helping us, Lebanon is not an extremely rich country.
Right.
But they recognize the role of education. If we as a student front do not start recognizing the need to support our own, people look at MOOCs today, then during this whole protest, you tell a student that the MOOCs are in meeting. And the student said, what is MOOCs?
Who cares about MOOCs?
And genuinely,
what does MOOCs mean?
Exactly. Students ask, what does MOOCs mean? In our last, during our last president's era, we had a GA meeting. And in the GA meeting, there was a payment of MOOCs funds, MOOCs capitation, something like that. The monies were huge. The student said,
over 10,000.
Yes, what is MOOCs to GIJ? Like, meanwhile, there probably are genuine things MOOCs does, USAC does, GAPS does. But because this is what we have succeeded in doing with the student fund, we have separated it and made it a political class, and then a group of few people are down there. So when you get to campus and you see someone dressed neatly with an iron shirt, with a kaftan, with a diary, you know this guy will run for SRC president.
That's what they actually thought.
That's what it is.
Well, you look.
He looks
like it.
So when I was running, people came, look, no, Ninja, this is a shape Nigerian pain. You don't like it, man, drop it. So those are big challenges, and I'm saying, and I at this point want to be grateful to the Socialist Forum of Ghana. Right. I attended a training in 2019, and we were trained on certain issues that had to do with class struggle and understanding that in every issue, our biggest problem is that we have created classes amongst people. And if we as the leadership, and I was feeling this man this morning, the moment the people begin to feel that because they trust us, we want to use it to gain personal benefit, we're in trouble. And that's what the next SLC must do. To create a situation where everybody feels that yes, you are the SLC president, but we are both in the same situation. And that if you are the SLC president doesn't mean that you are better than me, that all of us are equal people who would have this problem. So we owe it onto ourselves. That all of us who have gone for these things, all of a sudden we shouldn't see ourselves as freedom fighters. We shouldn't see ourselves as heroes. Rather, if only the people on our page had posted, nobody would have minded us. That there are lots of the people who are affected by this directive were just a little below 100. But over 2,000 students posted.
That's so impressive.
That's the solidarity.
My goodness.
And for me, that was
impressive.
Look, I got to a point at the protest, those of us standing in front of the police, none of us was affected by the decision. So the police were like,
so you were just
you have an issue, we said no. So what are you doing here? We said, and the people who actually affected, look, there's a lady who was affected, she called, she said, I'm in Kumasi. Even the lorry fare to make, she wants to come, but even lorry fare to make it, I cannot come. So all of you there, you are not just there for yourselves, but you are there for all of us. And to just lastly say the point, my dad I think saw me on TV yesterday. And when my dad mostly doesn't like to see me in places where the agitation, because he thinks I like to be at agitated places too much. Once he saw it, he didn't see me in the video, but he knew I was there. So he called me and said, what's happening? I said, they're not allowing us, I gave him a lot of issues. And he said, but you have paid your fees. I said, yes. But you have read this. I said, yes. Who meets you there?
Who told you here?
So I just gave him one. I said, look, even from my religious perspective, you say that we are all one brothers, and that there's no peace for one person until there's peace for another person. And I think that was how he actually could. So I think that the spirit of solidarity, and agreeing that even if it's just one person that's affected, once he's a colleague of ours and has a legitimate case, we must all be willing to help.
I want to even start up and give you guys a standing ovation. I want to give you a standing ovation at this point. Because we need this in Ghana right now. We need to be each other's keeper. We need to appreciate the need to fight good causes. And we need to appreciate the need to sometimes stand up and say no.
Sorry.
Not disrespectfully, and here I'm coming to use because I like the strategy too. Not disrespectfully, not with violence, but just to say no, this is not acceptable. Let's talk again. Let's go back. And so many issues have come up. This month of March is amazing. A lot of hashtags. A lot of hashtags on.
We don't know what April has for us.
Maybe you're not even done. We might see anyone.
and I don't know if I should be worried or if I should be happy. This particular one makes me happy. The other ones I'm not so sure if it makes me happy. But we are making progress. Are we not? We are making progress. If we can all stand up and say, no, this is not acceptable, we will stand up, we would organize. And for our authorities to listen, to actually listen, and go back, come back to us and reconsider. That's also pretty amazing as well. Farida, you say something to management.
Oh, I would say we are very grateful that they actually listened to our plea and then opened the portal for affected students. We know they are caring. We know they love us and we love them too. So we are very grateful. We are very, very grateful for what they've done. And I think going forward, they should always give students a listening ear, and then act fast to our needs, because we are also stakeholders. And then even though we are thanking them, they should make sure, they should know that going forward, communication is key. And then they should get back to us as soon as possible whenever we need information. And then whenever they are communicating to us, they shouldn't assume that let's do it like this, they will understand. Let's put it this way, they will understand. They should always go into details, because this communique that was released, we didn't really understand what it meant. So I think going forward, when they are releasing communiques, they should go into details, step by step.
Like this one that was released today.
Exactly.
Or the second one that was released after we had the meeting with them. I think that would be best. We are very grateful for what they've done for students.
Right. Now let's go ahead with the MOMO number if you have it.
Sure. So the MOMO number is 05045535050. And the MOMO name is CTSG GIJ. The MOMO number again is 05045535050.
Right. Let me read a few of the messages that have come onto Facebook. Me, boy Baden, says, justice for GIJ students, using the hashtag. Amma, you look great in that headgear. Listen, I didn't come to play today. Thank you. Dennis Y. Akote says, greetings, Amma. Whoever is the head of the management of GIJ should rather thank his or her God for granting him or her wisdom to rescind management's decision and to allow students to write their exams, given the COVID-19 difficult context at hand. I do not want to recount my experience last year as law student with one of our public universities, but if a female student should be pushed by circumstances to say, if only you knew how I got this money to pay my fees, only to be denied because I was late to pay my fees, and you were not moved by your conscience as a servant leader, posterity will never forgive you, and your generations will surely partake in that indiscretion. Shalom. Shalom, Dennis.
Revolutionary.
Shalom. He's your colleague. Okay, so, I mean, because we are students, right, and we all know what's happening in Achima, I just want to pick your brains, and then we can, put today's show to rest. So, how do you think that the Achimota school management perhaps should take a cue from the GIJ school management in resolving this issue? He's laughing. In resolving, and I'm saying this because on Tuesday when I had the Russell Oswald here as parents of Nkrabia, Kofi Nkrabia, who had been denied, he said he had gone on a number of occasions to the school trying to communicate or trying to have a dialogue, a conversation, and nobody was willing to talk to him. You know, he was tossed from office to office, nobody would speak to him. Even the person who spoke to him refused to give him his name or who he is, like in terms of his position in the school. So he felt as though management was being condescending and disrespectful, you know, of him, of his child, and of the situation. So just, you know, let me pick your brains. How do you think that perhaps if Achimota School had managed the situation, they won't still be trending? Now GIJ is trending positively. Yeah. Motown is still trending negatively. So let's talk about that. Should I start with fire or should I start with water?
Water.
I think that I've listened to the conversation on social media, and I think that I'm somebody who likes to read and listen to what everybody's saying. In Ghana, I would say that most times people just like to argue based on religious lines. And I've also seen that in Ghana, when people say religious, they actually mean Christian. They do not recognize any other religion. And so it's difficult to put your issues across because you hear everybody say Ghana is a religious country, but what they really want to say is that Ghana is a Christian country.
Right. Meanwhile, it's not.
But it's not. It's not. So Achimota should understand that today you can be heard without having to own a TV station.
Right.
All you need to do is to jump on your social media page and put your issue there. And there will be somebody who may be I beg the pardon of anybody, you may be satisfying someone's ego.
Right.
With the statement you just put out. You may be sharing in someone's sentiment with the statement you just put out. You may be sharing in the same beliefs and values with the statement you just put out. So for me, sitting at home and...
Or just for entertainment purposes, I want to jump on something.
Yes, I want to jump on something and make news. So here we are, somebody's being denied education because of his hair. Now, there are various religious groups. I know the Adventists do not wear earrings. So if I get into an institution where it is mandatory to wear an earring, I must do so. But we get into a place where tolerance must be key because the world has become so small that you have no idea who you're even dealing with. People are signed on to different kinds of groups and associations and what have you. When I heard the case, I felt that Achimota was not judging based on education. If you really wanted to give someone education, your job was to give the person education and not necessarily to condemn the hairstyle. Because the hairstyle, I've read different articles that dreadlocks promote violence. And I'm sitting at home and I'm like, I know men in suit who promote violence with their suitcase. So how did we even get here that somebody's hair is scaring you? You know, but of course we live in a country where we will push away a guy with dreadlocks who wants to play the keyboard in church. But when we go to Canada, it is fine because it's Canada. But in Ghana, the one who wants to play the keyboard with the dreads is demonic. But the pastor with tattoos and dread in America is doing a good job.
That's fine with his earring.
Very, very hypocritical. Very, very hypocritical. So I think that the world has gotten to a place where people are putting out their issues and they will surely get a voice. And I think 2 days ago, if you check the Facebook page of the British Council, they put out a picture of a dreadlocks guy, a Rasta guy, who was in the lab. And they wrote there that we have universities that accept all kinds of people. And I could see the PR in that. Because they're trying to say that education is education.
Listen, people are trying to cash in. Yeah. And it's the private schools that will benefit.
Yes. At the end of the day.
Yes. And you see, we sit here in Ghana and we play these games to our own detriment. We don't want this. We don't accept that. And so people are continuously having to go outside to pay more.
And it becomes difficult to come serve their country.
Absolutely. Have you listened
to the young boy? Look, when you listen to the president of Margaret and you listen to the young boy, you're like, wow. This boy is a junior high school student or a graduate of junior high school.
16 or 17.
Yeah. And this is when I listen to the Margaret, I'm like, this guy is the president of teachers. graduate teachers in the
Do you
government.
not ask the Rastafarians to have their own school?
Look, you see,
Is that the worst? He said if you cut Caucasian people's hair, they will look ugly.
you see my experience in.
He actually used the word Negro.
Exactly. And you see the worst case scenario is that Achimota, the scenario in Achimota is actually one of the most open. What happened in Achimota? As worse as we see it, Achimota is the open. That's very open. And the only thing Achimota is the best.
This is who we are.
It's terrible in our West African senior high school. That's what I attended senior high school. When we got to school the first year, I saw a lady who didn't look like me. She looked Asian and she had her hair on. I said, but why does this girl have her hair on?
She's Asian.
I said, oh, they have written what. I said, okay. Then in the second year, we had a German, and she still kept her hair. And anytime these things happen, I ask myself, it looks like deliberately we don't like ourselves. Now look at those headmistresses. Look at the big men we have in the country. Most of them schooled outside. When they go outside, they are unable, everybody's in a hurry to go outside. But when they go outside, they are unable to tell the people that Rasta is demonic. So you won't learn in your school, even though the lecturer is a Rastafarian. He doesn't say that to the lecturer that because you are Rastafarian, I'm not going to learn from you. But if it's one of our own, then at that moment we begin to feel that this is demonic. And so for me generally, in 2018, I joined a protest, and as a Muslim, I've seen this many times because there's been the issue of hijab, having to wear the hijab to school. This has been there. We've been going back and forth. In 2015, His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, spoke about allowing people to wear their hijabs. And it's been back and forth. And when I participated in that demonstration, generally, like he said, a lot of people, when they say Ghana is a religious country, they are saying it's a Judo-Christian country.
Absolutely.
I picked up Uber last Friday to compose for the program you're MC for. And in we were listening to a particular radio station, and then they were speaking about the Rastafarian issue. I nearly, I felt like I would have beaten the Uber driver in the car. Because from any time he spoke, no, I actually had to tell him that fire. I actually had to tell him that for the sake of water at that time. For the interest of ourselves, can we stop these conversations? Because he said it wasn't like he tried to link it up with the LGBT.
God doesn't like it.
God doesn't like.
Do you know God?
He said
God likes education.
He said Rasta is not African. I said, keeping your natural hair is not
giving God a haircut.
So for me, generally, it's a larger problem. But you made the points about the general atmosphere.
Right.
And we seem to be ignoring it. There's a general thing that people are blowing up.
Right.
And if you watch,
We've been repressed for so
long, and people are silent. So they speak. And all of, and as a country, we've been there before. We've been there many times. These are not predictions, but when people you put your people in a position where they feel they have nothing to lose, you are in serious trouble. And the government and whoever goes into these head positions, the police indeed. And yesterday, when we saw one student, and it's one incident I just have to say, the moment students saw Koshio for you know what they said? Everybody started saying, "Let my vote count alliance." So they know him, they have pictured him that this is his track record and all those things. So it always must not be about fights. And that's why I think I have to commend Superintendent Freeman. Because when he came to handle the whole situation, even though she didn't went beyond board, he actually had to speak to us. And
does this look like a course you guys might be interested in? Not to give you ideas or anything, but does it look like, would you like to extend your Alita Continental activities into other territories? Into other territories. And look to courses, because you guys are concerned that and look to other concerns beyond GIJ and take your expertise of fire and water.
Collaborations of fire.
So when you go to your next caucus meeting, think about it. Think about it. But great. It's been great having you guys here. Awesome what you are doing. Give out the moment number again, please do, quickly, and then we are out of here. Yes, okay, so sorry, the number is on the screen, so you don't have to. So let me say it is 050-455-3050. Please do send any amount that you have. Nothing is too small. From 1 city to 1 million. So that we can help the other students who are able to raise the money. They have a 5-day deadline, so they can, quickly gather that money. go and register and come out. Great stuff, great organization. Good. So I have Sobolo for all of you. Please drink.
Thank you.
I'm actually not eating the whole day, so that's very good for us.
We'll bring the voice back.
Yes, he needs to get. So yours will probably be ginger.
Yeah,
yes,
I love ginger.
Ginger Sobolo. Yours is also ginger.
Yeah.
So there's passion fruit as well and mango. So I'll look in my fridge and see if I have more for you guys. My producers are saying no.
I know it's Tijani.
So thank you guys for coming. Great stuff. Don't stop.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending your messages on Facebook as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye.
Every day, he has a drink filled with malt. Every day.